Welcome to Rants and Reels. Tonight, I'm going to see Aquaman. Aquaman. The anticipation is, I don't know, we'll see. This is either going to be another Wonder Woman or another Justice League. It's all up in the air, I guess under the water. It's all under the water at this point. I'll be back in just a second and I'll tell you how it is. Aquaman. Let's talk about Aquaman. Okay, so it was a little bit of a mess. I've got to admit, there was a lot of revisionary work. It felt a lot of things, a lot of elements of this film did not fit tonally. The humor felt shoehorned in. The action sequences, the fight, they were a little too overblown, especially for a superhero film. Although I do have to say, with the exception of Wonder Woman, it did fit the general style of the current DC films, which is not exactly a good thing. It has a lot of the same problems that Man of Steel had, that Justice League had, that Batman vs. Superman had. Kind of paper-thin plot, kind of paper-thin character, and the whole thing is sewn together with overwrought, destructive fight. And then you have to, because I guess the lesson that DC or Warner Brothers took from Wonder Woman is that there needed to be more levity. That's not the case, I guess. Or maybe they didn't take that from Wonder Woman. Maybe they took that from just general criticism of being too dark. But darkness is not a problem, provided it's well sourced, well motivated. As long as it makes sense, go for dark. That's fine. But here, they really did have some moments and some plot devices where they could have gone for a darker, grittier story, but every time they approached that brink, they pulled back and they went for levity instead, which caused some really interesting contradictions in tone. It really felt like they were trying to do far too much with this film. It felt like, or appeared, that they were trying to rely on the Throne of Atlantis story arc from the comic, but without the benefit of having that real character arc of discovery. Arthur Curry finding out who he really is, where he fits in. So they didn't have that to rely on. It didn't quite work. The motivations just were a little strained, and I found myself throughout the majority of the movie trying to figure out exactly where this fits in with Aquaman's previous appearance in the Justice League, because we got a little bit of him, a little bit of his character development, a little Atlantean flavor there, but not much. This doesn't quite seem to match up, and it could be that I'm just not remembering that very well. The whole thing was, there's cheesy and then there's campy. This Aquaman film rests pretty solidly in the category of pretty cheesy. It didn't get a chance to cross over into that slightly self-aware category of camp. There were a lot of ridiculous moments and elements that they tried to take far too seriously, and they were far too ridiculous to take seriously. So when you try to take something serious that isn't serious, and you can't be serious about not taking it serious, you have a serious problem. What I'm trying to say is somebody thought it was funny, but it wasn't the audience. The audience reaction, as far as I could hear and tell, was pretty subdued. No cheers, no laugh. I didn't hear anything beyond really. I mean, kind of a that's amusing. Yeah, little bits of chuckle here and there, but no laugh, which is sad because there were moments that actually could have been really humorous. They could have pulled a lot of humor out of this film, but they didn't deliver it. And it's really a shame. There were some good performances, not really from Jason Momoa. He was fine. He really was fine, but they didn't give him enough to work with. He really is a good performer, a good actor. He has a lot of good comic sense, but they didn't give him anything to work with. He was just this pretty monotone, one note superhero character that we're kind of tired of seeing at this point in time. We need a little more complexity because we've seen this movie before, and it didn't work the first time, second time, third time, fourth time. It's going to make money, which is why it keeps happening, because people keep going to see it, which is fine. You want to go see this movie, go see this movie. You might even be entertained, but I can pretty much guarantee you the day after, you're not going to remember a whole lot about it, other than it was colorful. There were some kind of neat things, and a lot of shirtless Jason Momoa, which is fine, but doesn't really help the plot. It was kind of a mess. It is, and word's been going around. This is the second best showing from DC for the DC cinematic universe, the DC extended or expanded universe, whatever they're calling it. But that's not really a high bar because nothing's even approached the quality of film that Wonder Woman was. So they've definitely got themselves in a hole. This helps a little bit, but I don't really think it provides them a direction forward or a direction out, because the entire film really just felt like a 2.5 hour afterthought, because they don't have, as far as I can see, as far as I can tell from what I'm seeing, they don't have a plan. They're just throwing it out there, making it up as they go, and to build a cinematic universe the way they're trying to, the way they want to, you can't do that. You have to have some kind of a plan to go forward, and they're not executing it. And I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because they started with a clean slate, and that slate's pretty clean still. They can go back and start over, but they're not. I don't know. Aquaman's kind of disappointing. That's not terrible. It's not the worst thing I've ever watched, but it was really pretty dull. And I think I'm frustrated because they had a lot of material that they could have worked with that could have wound up being incredibly good. But no, not at all. I was just bored for the most part. Bored, wondering how this fits in, why their character decisions, why their character revisions, they don't seem to make sense. They could if they explained or justified how things work, but they don't. They don't explain anything. And I feel kind of cheated as an audience member. Look, if you're a DC fan and you like these films, fine, good for you. I'll stick with the book for now if I want good story, because you're not going to find good story in these films, not at this point. So Aquaman, take it or leave it. It's 2.5 hours, and personally, I can think of a lot better things to do with 2.5 hours, and I'll leave that up to imaginations. All right. Thank you. That's all I have to say about Aquaman. Not the best, not the worst, but that's not a high bar. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.